Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Mindcage, starring Martin Lawrence. That's right, Martin Lawrence in a serious role, and John Malkovich as basically Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's The Pineys, books 1 through 10. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So Martin Lawrence is trying a serious role. I don't know, man. He didn't look different at all. He looks exactly like Martin Lawrence, and I think that's a mistake. I think he should have changed up his look a little bit. He looks exactly like Martin Lawrence. Exactly as he did in essentially Bad Boys, where he does play a cop, but it's more of a funny role. All his comedy movies, I think he needed to change up his look. Shave his head, go gray, something. To look exactly the same. I think immediately when I saw him, I'm like, Martin Lawrence is in this? Is there going to be a witness that he questions that's super fat and it's really going to be him in the fat suit? Now that doesn't mean the movie's bad, but it does feel very derivative. Because they, of course, have to go to John Malkovich, the guy they caught before, who's the serial killer, because there's a copycat. And Martin Lawrence can't go in, so he sends his beautiful new partner, a young woman, who then eventually becomes the target of the killer. And Martin Lawrence is taking drugs, and John Malkovich is running circles around them. But it looks at the end, they nearly catch him. I don't know. It's called Mindcage. It's not a particularly great title. I'm not in love with that. Not sure when it comes out. Oh, December 16th. In select theaters and on demand. See if there's anything else in here. No, it's Martin Lawrence, Melissa Roxburgh, and John Malkovich. Oh, here's some credits. Story by Mauro Borelli. Screenplay by Reggie Kichara III and directed by Mauro Borelli. So Mauro Borelli is the director. He hired a screenwriter. This is what the movie I want to do. Write me a screenplay. And that's basically what Reggie did. Yeah, I don't know, man. This feels like Silence of the Lambs with half the budget. That doesn't mean it's not good. It could be good. I mean, John Malkovich is really good in these kinds of creepy roles, but you know, I don't know. Martin Lawrence, there's a lot riding on Martin Lawrence to sell this. I don't know if he has the acting chops to do it. I'm just saying. I like Martin Lawrence. You know, I saw him live one time. He was very funny. You know, as a comedian, pretty good. As a serious actor, I don't know, man. He's not doing it in the trailer for me. It just seems like it's him trying to be serious, and he needed something else. A different look, a different body language. He just seems like he's, you know, they're actors, and it's not like he's a horrible actor. It's like when you do something a little more serious like this, you got to kind of kick up your game. I don't feel like he's kicking up his game. It feels like he's just where he's at, which I don't think that's enough to sell this movie. Whereas John Malkovich, he's like already there. This is shooting and fish in a barrel for John Malkovich. This is slumming for John Malkovich. But he's also been doing these roles a long time too. So, sort of getting tired of seeing him. I wish he'd do something. I wish they'd give him a better movie to be in. So, and you know, you've got the beautiful woman questioning the killer for clues. I mean, this really is Silence of the Lambs, right? I mean, Jodie Foster was, you know, not a stunner, but she was the young woman trying to come up in the FBI, and Anthony Hopkins is the older guy who's manipulating her. I mean, it's like the same damn movie. And it's another situation, except instead of a copycat, it's a guy. In Silence of the Lamb, it was one of Hannibal Lecter's patients, right? I believe so. I think that's the way it ran. I don't know. And it's the same sort of serial killer for John Malkovich. Oh, this is his masterpiece. He'd poison women and then stage these elaborate displays of them. And so I don't know. Just they needed something different here. And it would have been easy to do, It would have been easy to make this different. It could have been the easiest thing to do would have been to reverse the roles of Martin Lawrence and the woman, right? The woman make her the veteran, even though she's younger and beautiful. She's some sort of cop prodigy who captured the killer, and you make up some excuse why she can't go in and question him. Martin's been transferred. I mean, obviously he's older, so he can't be a rookie, but he's been transferred. Maybe he's been working his whole life to get in a homicide in a big case like this, and now he finally has it, but he's bitten off more than he could chew. I mean, that would at least be something different. As for John Malkovich, I mean, you telling me you can't write this dialogue? He's going to jerk them around. He's super smart. He's going to manipulate them. Possibly at the end he gets away like Hannibal Lecter doing something clever. I mean, that again, how about something else? Now in this one he says he wants his death sentence commuted in order to help them. Okay, that makes sense. It's not like it doesn't make sense. That's not the issue. The issue is it's close to Hannibal Lecter. Now Hannibal Lecter I don't think was up for the death penalty in the movie. I mean, he could have been, I guess, but wasn't really an issue. Maybe they could have done something else. Some other motivation. Did they have to make him super smart? And super, like, oh, I'm a super classical guy. I love classical music, and I've read everything, and here I'm going to quote the Bible and Machiavelli and blah, 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 blah. Why not do a switcheroo? Why not make him a good old boy and then make the cop the guy who's really into the classics? I don't know. Something else other than what we've already seen. I mean, I like Silence of the Lambs. It's a pretty good movie. Pretty good. For what it is. Following the serial killer. In fact, I like Red Dragon by Michael Mann, if you've ever seen that one. That one's pretty good, too. I don't know. This just feels like, oh, we're going to do Silence of the Lambs. But we'll do our own version of it. Yeah, I don't think they should have went this way. I can see the attraction for doing it, right? I mean, I would love to write something like this. A serial killer and then he's manipulating the cops. I mean, it's a cool thing to write, but feels like you're going down the exact same paths. Like you ever see tire tracks in the dirt? Yeah, it feels like, Silence of the Lambs made them, and this movie's going right down the same set of tire tracks. First act, there's a murder. Oh my God, it's exactly like that other murder, but that guy's in jail. Okay, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go into jail and question him. Oh, I can't question him. He doesn't trust me. Oh, we need the girl. Yeah, this rookie. Well, that's why you get assigned to this case, because, you're a rookie and he thinks he can manipulate you, but he won't, because we'll prepare you. And so second act, they go in there and they start questioning him, and he says, I want my sentence commuted. And Martin Lawrence is like, never. He should die because he killed my partner. Which, again, that feels a little ham-fisted. Oh, he killed my partner. Yeah, that makes it very personal, but it's also unlikely. So he killed his partner, so he wants him to die, but then they're going to commute his sentence if they catch the killer, I guess. But who's playing who through the second act? Well, you're going to find out in the third act. Maybe he's sending secret messages to a copycat killer in order to manipulate this because he's so smart, and then somehow he's going to get out at the end. I don't know. Maybe they'll actually twist it around. In the end, Martin Lawrence figures it out and says, "Ha, you lied to us. You broke the deal. Now you're going to be executed." And then, the end of the movie is they drag John Malkovich out. He's like, no, you tricked me. You tricked me. That wouldn't be too bad. That would be a little different if Martin Lawrence actually outsmarts John Malkovich. But if John Malkovich gets out at the end of this movie, like, oh, we're going to start a franchise, now he's out. Yeah, that would be pretty damn close to Hannibal Lecter, I think. So, I don't know. Would I see this movie? I like these kinds of movies sometimes. But I'm a little wary of this. I'm a little wary that, number one, Martin Lawrence may be in over his head. Again, no offense to Martin Lawrence. I like him. I think he's funny. But I don't know if he's right for this kind of movie. If he was going to do this kind of movie, I think he needed to change up his look. Like, he needed to be almost unrecognizable in this movie. Give him a scar. Give him an accent. Give him different colored hair. Something. Just mix him up a little bit so I don't see, his characters from every movie. I want to see, like, something new. So that's holding me back. That's ruining my suspension of disbelief. John Malkovich, on the other hand, he has done this role a million times. The girl, she's hot. Again, this is what Hollywood does. They cast a super hot chick. This feels like a low-budget version of Silence of the Lambs, so of course they're going to cast a hot chick. You got to have a hot chick in it. Is there going to be a love story? I doubt it. I don't know who she would fall in love with in this movie. But Malkovich can't carry this movie by himself in this role. He just can't. As interesting as his performance may be, this genre or subgenre of cop drama, it's so overplayed, man. It's just so overplayed. It's been so many of these. And it never seems to be, how many more smart guys are going to murder a bunch of women in such clever ways in the world of Hollywood? It almost never happens, and yet people are just fascinated by the genre. I get it. I watch these movies too, but I've seen so many of them. It's just like they're kind of the same thing. And Silence of the Lambs was about as high as you could get, because at least in Silence of the Lambs, they set up Hannibal Lecter as an unusual serial killer, even amongst serial killers, right? Because they really spent the movie hunting Buffalo Bill, who is like a real serial killer. He's disturbed. He's messed up. He's killing people because he's so mentally effed up. Hannibal Lecter is unusual in that he's super smart and he's still one of these killers. But like that contrast kind of gives you that, okay, he's a serial killer amongst serial killers, the rare of the rare. This just feels like yet another entry, like, oh, here's a serial killer. Well, obviously he's very smart and it's going to be tough to catch him, but and they're not even giving you an idea who the copycat is. So I feel like it's him or him behind the scenes manipulating somebody. Or is it, I don't know, is it Martin Lawrence? That would be a twist. That would be a big twist. But that wouldn't make any sense, but it at least would be a twist. I don't know. So, would I watch this? Probably not. I would have to hear from somebody else who saw it that it was really, really good. And after I, vented about what I think about these movies in general, and they said, no, there's a real big twist in this, I think you'll like it. And then I would go see it. But I don't know. Kind of got a high bar for this. Don't like the title. I want to like this movie. It just doesn't seem very different. Anyhow, that's it for me. Tony D and Little Joan somewhere in the background. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. I will be at the Moonlit Market tomorrow night at New Egypt, the New Egypt Market in New Egypt, New Jersey. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you in the next one.